Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tattooing Network.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
John Archiquette.
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
Matt Turner.
I'm not afraid.
And Joshua Gray.
You will be.
What's going on, Outriders? You're back with the Legion Outrider podcast with John and Matt. We got no Josh here today.
What happened?
I think after last week, he went on his little rant, and I don't know if FFG sent a hit squad out after him, or if he just decided he was done. He's actually he's working his other job tonight.
Oh, I was hoping we were probably just sending him out to adjust the settings on his shot collar. So.
We sent him to the nearest Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Which is probably in Alaska.
Right? Yeah.
Next to the Blockbusters.
Hey, I still got my card somewhere, I think.
I probably still have some late fees somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Oh, God. We got some good stuff to talk about today. This week, we're going to do a little recap from the May the 4th celebrations that Matt got to experience. We'll take a look at some new Star Wars news. And, of course, today is the day that the Snowtroopers are officially on the streets.
Wahoo.
Or the snowbanks, wherever.
Depending on what part of the world you're in.
Not here.
No, we hit triple digits this week.
Ugh, yeah. We're going to drag on about weather talk. But yeah, for those who are just turning to the podcast for the first time, we're based here in Las Vegas, and it's the desert.
Yeah.
So no snowtroopers here.
Known for our hockey.
Yeah, known for our hockey. Hell yeah, Hockey Town USA. So yeah, we made it to the Western Conference Finals in our first year, and I'm pretty stoked about it. And you actually identified the fact that it's hockey, not, ice hockey?
Yeah, I mean, field hockey? I'm just confused. No, I think you guys have drilled it home well enough. And nothing kills a joke like reiterating it too many times.
You're right. So, yeah. But Josh is getting refitted for his restraining bolt because we haven't beaten that joke to the ground yet.
I'll try to carry the show in his stead and be all grumpy and...
But we actually have you here in person now. For those of you guys who aren't aware, we thought he was a droid last week, and no, he's back in the flesh.
Yay, made it back.
Unless you're a replica, which we haven't tested it out yet.
Well, if you disappear into the desert somewhere, I guess we'll know. But no, I feel good.
Well, that's good. I mean, other than the fact that you came back with a little sniffle, huh?
Oh man, yeah. All the souvenirs cost money at Disney World except for the smiles. And the SARS virus, or whatever it is I end up picking up over there, the bird flu.
So how was it, though? How was the overall experience? Because we talked to you right before you were heading out for the Star Wars After Dark.
No, we had a good time. It was really cool. We got some little badges and little swag bag things that they gave us. And basically, they kept the park open till 1 a.m., so it bridged the gap from May the 3rd into May the 4th. There were some exclusive items to get a hold of, some of them pretty cool. I tried to get the AT-AT popcorn buckets, but they only had it at one station, and it was sold out by the time I got there.
What?
So, yeah, I was pretty bummed about that. But overall, it was really good. They had a lot of picture opportunities kind of sprinkled around the park. They had the big line to get the merchandise. And the unfortunate part was anything that was like Star Wars related, it was like an hour and a half, 2 hour line. Like literally just to get your pictures taken, there was a line around the block for like R2-D2 and C-3PO. Even the Ewoks was over an hour. And I was like,
what do you mean even the Ewoks?
Even the Ewok, especially the Ewoks.
Especially,
okay,
thank you.
That make you, I was like, is that coffee I smell?
I was going to say, did they have any of their famous coffee?
No, not even that. So we stood in line to get the merchandise. So we got some of the little exclusive. They had the die-cast series that they have exclusively of Disneyland. They had Darth Vader with his helmet off, which was really cool. Got all my T-shirt shopping done for the year.
Nice.
And all that. But it was really cool. They had some preview art up for the Edge of the Galaxy land. Basically, it's coming to Star Wars land. They actually inserted it into Star Tours. That was cool. But basically, after we got tired of staying in line and seeing all the lines, we just used it as an excuse to go on all the like the Indiana Jones and Hyperspace Mountain. They reconverted it to that with all the Admiral Akbar speeches because those were basically walk-on because everybody else was in line for pictures.
Oh, really? So the rides were pretty much empty?
Yeah. So
nice.
It was packed for that stuff, but Yeah, it was kind of a bummer because we found out all the stuff we stood in line for the merchandise. It was all available the next day, anyways.
Oh, really?
But, yeah, the only thing that sold out was those popcorn
buckets.
Yeah,
Because apparently everyone listens to our podcast, and they were all trying to jump on the supply.
Yes, from the time that it got published and all that, I'm sure they had time to act on that. But it was a good time. I don't know if I'll go next year. Definitely, some people were voicing their complaints about the waiting but make lemonade with it, I guess, and get on the rides that you usually have to wait over an hour for.
See, like that, to me, that would have been the best part.
Yeah,
I can get pictures of Chewbacca anytime I want. It's called taking a selfie. But, but I mean, yeah, I would much rather just
Oh, is that the Chewbacca with the duck lips that I saw? Oh, that's horrible. You're a monster.
Oh God! But you think the overall it was a pretty cool experience?
Oh, they also had a little parade with Phasma and the First Order troops, and they had like little voiceovers going with they were looking for a rebel, and they heard he was over in Tomorrowland or something, and they would march around, and it was pretty cool. They'd interact with the audience as they did the little March of the First Order thing. They did that a couple of times. That was kind of cool. The costumes are really top notch, as you expect.
Sure, yeah.
And whoever they got in the Phasma outfit was suitably tall, so that was pretty cool.
Well, that's good.
And then the rest of the night, there was a DJ doing various Star Wars mixes on the ones and twos. So.
was he dressed up in character?
No, he had some kind of like a checkered Disney suit or something like that.
Okay.
A DJ something or other. I don't know. Didn't really pay attention. It was kind of fun though.
Nice. Well, it's probably an event that at some point I want to check out, but
maybe
the lines,
next year.
The lines are pretty crazy. Yeah, maybe I'll wait. I'll wait till at least till the actual theme park opens up.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be big.
So you had that, and then you brought back your SARS virus
Yeah,
for everyone.
yeah, I got that, and hopefully finally just kicking it. I've loaded myself up with every vitamin and Dayquil that I could find to get me through this at least, but. Yeah, it always seems when you travel someplace where there's a bunch of people with viruses and influenzas that you're not accustomed to, you end up picking up something.
It's kids. Come on.
Oh, God, yeah. Just keep away from me, you grubby filthmongers. Like dirty Jawas.
So you still made it back in time last weekend for our tournament that we had.
Yeah, I zoomed home because we had the May the 6th or the Revenge of the 5th event. For that Saturday, where it was we were giving a whack at doubles, so I was able to sit in on that. And unfortunately, nobody needed a partner. Well, maybe fortunately, because I was really out of it that day. But I was able to watch you guys play some games, and you paired up with Josh. How'd that go?
Yeah, Josh. I mean, despite the fact that we just have this absolute disparity in our our moral existence, he kept giving me dirty looks and calling me a dirty terrorist. But,
because you were the only mixed faction one.
We were, yeah. No. John and Nib, I think his name was
Neb.
Neb.
Oh yeah.
Neb, yeah. Uh-huh. They were also mixed faction. It was kind of funny because they were our first match that we played against, and it was almost a mirror match.
Oh really?
They ran one ATST and Rebel and Imperial both combined. They had one ATST. We had one ATST. We ran Veers and Luke for the commanders. So overall, it was close, and it came down to a very close point count to see who ended up winning the game. So Josh and I won that one, and the second game I had to duck out a little early. So I didn't get to sit around.
Because it was your birthday.
It was my birthday. Yeah. I had previously scheduled engagements.
You had to go meet up with the pleasure barge and sail about.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how that one ended up finishing out. I think Josh lost it, so I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't know what to do with all those filthy terrorists and just sent them forward to die.
It's a great responsibility, and I don't think he can handle it. But one of the things with running that tournament was we had the first time we actually run Grand Army. Yeah,
so it was 800-point lists for both players, and I had scheduled about 3 hours, not really running like a death clock or anything, but trying to keep it to about 3 hours. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody really finished a game, though.
Yeah, we weren't even really that close, that first game that we did. I think part of the difficulty was when you go into it with 1,600 points of your own army, you at least know the role that each unit's supposed to perform. Mm-hmm. And I think you have an idea of how you want to deploy. The deployment itself, I think that took the longest.
Yeah, no, for sure. People are like, "Oh, are we starting clocks now?" I was like, "I started clocks like 15 minutes ago. What are you guys talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, we just finished deploying." I was like, "Oh, holy cow!"
Yeah, I think it took us about 45 minutes just to deploy.
Yeah,
and because of the fact that your deployment areas don't really get any bigger.
Right.
You're expanding 6 inches per side.
Yeah, so you're playing on the 6x4 instead of the 6x3.
Exactly. So you're adding 6 inches of depth to your side, but that doesn't always equate to a larger deployment area because very few times are you just deploying on your edge.
Yeah, no, when you're literally doubling the size of or the amount of models you're putting on the table, maybe having a larger deployment zone is necessary. But it definitely gathered some good data from this. I don't think I'd do 800 points again per side, maybe scale it down to like 500, 600.
That I think would be better. Even 400 I think would be okay.
Yeah, for sure.
But having the partner's fun. I mean, that's definitely enjoyable. I don't think it adds too much.
Well, that was the point,
time.
just to have some fun and, goof around with another buddy as you play Star Wars. But
But it also definitely makes apparent how some of those scenarios do not translate well to that type of format. The first game we had the battle lines and breakthrough scenario, which is, of course, the
getting your enemies
wide table
with the
wide table and get your guys to the end zone. If you want to break into football terms, that's the way I would think of it. And because it's very hard to get the game to actually go 6 rounds.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any. We didn't have anybody that could even advance that far. I think we made it through 3 rounds in that 3-hour time period.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do a full Grand Army, you just need to schedule the entire day. Like, this is what we're doing today. So treat it like a game of Apocalypse or something like that for 40K.
Yeah, so it doesn't exactly. It plays well, but it doesn't translate time-wise to being the same. And I don't feel like Legion is as killy as 40K can be.
Oh, sure.
So
yeah, especially in 8th edition.
Yeah. So when we had, some of these units out there, we had I don't remember how many exactly Stormtrooper units Josh had, but I had 5 Rebel troop units. So I think we maybe
had at least 4 or 5.
Yeah, so I think we had about 10 core units out there.
Yeah.
And you get those guys in cover, and it's just tough. It's hard to get enough dice to actually pick them up, And, you're throwing a few ATSTs in there, and it does some damage, but it's not enough to really just make a huge difference in that short period of time. So, yeah, we learned some good things about it. It was definitely a fun event. Throughout a few fun little angles you threw out there for us, like one.
Oh yeah, we were doing alternate objectives to win store credit and stuff from the entry. But,
yeah, so we had one of them that was the first person to have their teammate lose their commander.
Yeah, that was the second scenario. It was teaching the Sith about betrayal. Only 2 there are, but invariably somebody's going to get betrayed because you don't want to stay the apprentice forever.
It's a great thematic thing, and as soon as you announced that, Josh looks at me, and I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah. You knew exactly what was going to be happening. I'm like, try to position you in a disadvantageous
the man
situation.
already thinks like a Sith.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all you needed to do is just reward him for his natural evil thoughts.
Oh, well, in the spirit of the event. So that's good.
And then I let him take control of my army, so I wouldn't have been shocked if he just threw Luke to the wolves anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll send troops. It'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, right. Don't worry, Luke, go out there. We got your back. We'll cover you.
Way back.
So what kind of Star Wars news do we have going on?
Oh, wow. There's some exciting stuff from Fantasy Flight, obviously. We got some more spoilers on Leia. At Star Wars itself, though, actually tonight, within a few hours of recording this right now, they're doing the red carpet premiere for the Solo movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I can't wait to see what some reviews are on that. But for those that are tuning it in tonight, I'm probably going to try to catch a bit of it tonight, the red carpet, but that should be pretty cool. Also, there is a rumor going about of a Obi-Wan movie going into pre-production that's supposed to be scheduled for shooting here in spring of 2019.
So I feel like that's been the rumored movie being thrown away. Start shooting in spring of 2019.
Yeah, start shooting.
Okay.
So they're doing pre-production at Pinewood Studios and ILM in London. Doing all the artwork and getting things staged, but they haven't actually started shooting yet. I don't think they've even announced cast or anything from what I could see, but that could be really cool. Hopefully, Ewan McGregor will come back for to reprise his role of what was Obi-Wan doing on Tatooine that entire time other than sitting around?
I'd like to see what time period they're going to set this in.
Yeah,
could it be pre Episode 1, before Qui-Gon Jinn, when maybe Obi-Wan got discovered as being Force sensitive or something like that, or I think the time period you talked about would be the most interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a giant blank, so they definitely have some room to maneuver with. I think the only real reference in film has been via Rebels, when he had the altercation with Darth Maul, but really cool episode.
So, yeah, I mean, you figure there's probably about, a good, 30-year time span they have to work with?
Yeah.
More or less?
Oh, yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years, however old Luke was. But other than that, if you didn't catch it, last Saturday Night Live, they had Don Glover on there, and it was pretty awesome. If you got it on Hulu, definitely worth a watch.
Donald Glover, he's so hot right now.
He's so hot right now, yeah. Oh, man, yeah. The music video is releasing, and he did an awesome job on there. Of course, there was some Star Wars-related material on the SNL, but I want to check that out.
He's having arguably like the biggest week in the world right now.
Oh, perfectly timed. Whoever his publicist or he himself came up with it was a perfect storm of like, here's Donald Glover up in your face.
Exactly, yeah.
If you hadn't heard of him already.
And we've been, kind of touting him throughout our talk about the Solo movie, about how even if the movie is going to be terrible, it's like it's Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian.
Yeah,
How could you go wrong with that?
That's a win-win.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that, and we'll see what happens at the premiere tonight. You never know if there might be some big surprises that are released, or have they started announcing any reviews for the movie at all yet?
No, that's what I'm expecting. Maybe tomorrow we'll start seeing them. They might have some sort of blackout, but I have not heard anything yet.
Okay. But
hopefully soon, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
From where I was like 6 months ago, when I was like, oh, this is going to be a stinker. I am really, like I said, I'm really hoping that this is going to turn out to be successful.
Yeah, I was a little scared when we started getting closer and closer to the release date. We were 6 months out and we hadn't seen anything on it.
Yeah, no trailers, no posters, no nothing.
And that didn't bode well, but
no.
I think now that we're starting to see, the full press from Disney on getting this out there.
Yeah, this will be really interesting, especially for Ron Howard, because so much of the movie, I think, is basically taking place from when he came in. There was an article that came out a few weeks ago from an unnamed actor that was on the set, and the previous directors, I believe, they were out of their depth, basically, is what it came down to. People sensed that they were unsure, so they were unsure what they were supposed to be doing. It was just chaos. And then Ron Howard came in, and they said, to paraphrase, basically, it was just a ripple of calm, just kind of going through, because he's such an experienced and
absolutely
dedicated,
well-respected within the industry.
No, I do love his work, so I'm really hoping. And they were saying that it wasn't so much a problem with the script or the actors, that it was pretty much just somebody calling the shots.
Well, that's, sometimes you need, a head coach out there to kind of organize the troops and get everyone together. I don't know if you watch Arrested Development at all.
Not so much, but I mean, outside of meme formats, but why?
I'll post the link to our Facebook page, but there is a preview because Ron Howard is the voice of Arrested Development.
Right.
He does all the narration and stuff, and he's phenomenal at it. And he did a recap of all of the Star Wars original trilogy in the style of Arrested Development.
Oh, boy.
Using some of their running jokes and stuff like that, incorporating it into Star Wars. It's amazing. It's like a down and dirty, like, this is what happens in Star Wars, basically, it's about 5 minutes long. But it's definitely worth a watch.
There's always money in the Jakku junk stand.
Oh, God. Sometimes I think you need to pre-write these jokes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. But no, put that up, because I'd be interested to listen in on that. Because, yay, Ron Howard.
All right. So, Hobby Talk. We kind of skipped over to Hobby Talk last week because we had so many other things to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to get back into it this week because with the release of the Snowtroopers, which dropped today officially, and we got the box right here, and I got to say the models are really nice looking. Yeah,
they came basically packaged the same way the Stormtroopers did, so they've all got their own little Ziploc-y envelopes and whatnot with all the bits in there. But they look pretty keen.
And I'll tell you what, like, I know we talked about this before, but I'm currently working on building a 40K army for somebody, and having to go back to using sprues and clipping things off of sprues.
You've been spoiled that quickly? Wow.
Ugh, yeah, I just think, I don't want to have to use his tweezers.
You've forgotten your heritage, young Padawan.
Exactly. So it's nice to go back to seeing these Legion kits that are actually already cut out of sprues for you. But one of the things I want to talk about with the hobby talk is how to paint the Snowtroopers in a different way than the Stormtroopers.
Uh-huh.
Because white, we already know white's a difficult thing to paint, but then when you start including like different shades of white.
Oh, definitely, yeah. The official artwork on the box even has it. Like they've got the white armor and then some off-white, pants and skirting and whatnot. So
now I haven't seen anything from Sarastro yet, because I mean, let's face it, he's kind of the
the go-to guy for
anybody
Legion.
who wants to put together good painting tutorials between him and Duncan. But from what I've seen and some recommended tips from people, I kind of came up with my own strategy on how to paint these and make them as easy as what we saw from the Stormtroopers.
So what's your plan?
So the Stormtroopers, just to kind of recap with that, I talked about spraying it gray.
Yeah, the Mechanicus gray.
Yeah, Mechanicus gray or any other
Army painter,
lighter gray that you can find. And then doing a zenithal highlight with white, which means spraying from the top down and also maybe at like a 45-degree angle, getting it, a white color there, and then you'll have that natural darker shadow in between the crevices. So we're still going to stick with that to start with, okay? But that's how we started with the Stormtroopers. Then with the Stormtroopers, we would do the details of black. So do the visors, the little eyebrow piece, the joints in between the armor, the hands, and the gun. Do all those in black. And then once you're finished with that and it's all dry, then you would spray the whole thing with a gloss varnish. And the gloss varnish then kind of acts like a shield a little bit. And you're going to pour a half mixture, well, not pour, but you're going to use a half mixture of any kind of medium. Lamian medium is what I use from Citadel, and then a gloss oil, like a black oil. So I use Nuln oil from GW, and you mix about half and half mixture of those, and then you just go over the entire model. And because you've got that gloss varnish already on there, it kind of acts like a water repellent.
Okay.
And that lighter colored Nuln oil will actually pour into those crevices and form like a really nice shadow. And that's all you have to do. You don't need to go through and, you can if you want and go back through and touch up highlights and stuff, but it really acts to give you a quick down and dirty white, and it looks really good. Now with the Snowtroopers, because you have a different white in there and it doesn't all come out as gloss, my change in suggestion would be to go over it with a bone white.
Okay.
Now, if you look at a lot of the, I think GW, I think it's called...
Your Shabti bone.
Your Shabti bone, thank you. Yeah, so basically it just like a eggshell white, like a cream white, something like along the lines of that. And after you've already done the top zenithal highlight with the regular white, go over the sleeves, go over the cape, all the pieces, if you look at the box art, that are going to show up as being just kind of that off-white color. So go over those, and then once you have all that done and that's dried, go over just those parts with Seraphim Sepia or any other like sepia color wash, and that's a little bit different. It gives like an aged kind of a shadowed yellow almost. But once you have that, then you go through and do the other steps that I talked about. So do the same gloss varnish on top, then do all the parts that are going to be white. Do that with the half and half mixture of Nuln oil and the medium, and what that's going to do is it's still going to give you that gloss appearance on the white armor, but you're going to have that beige color or that that yellowish, dirty looking brown color for the cloth parts.
Yeah,
and I think that'll give you enough of a distinction between those while still giving it the light color appearance.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what some people come up with, some off color schemes. So that's great for being true to the movie kind of color scheme. What I'm waiting for is like the Clone Wars guys that kind of had the same outfit in the purples and I think some yellows. Yeah. I could see some people trying to do that because they did have that kind of face mask look. And I think if you played the original Battlefront 2, they were featured in there as one of the characters. But people are getting really creative with this game and the different paint schemes. Somebody had posted up some pictures on the Legion group of them wearing like the Star Trek. They had done the shirts from Star Trek, so you had your red shirts out there and, and the Stormtroopers. And
did you see how they painted their veers?
Yes, the Cobra Commander veers.
Yeah. And I could totally see that with the these new Snowtroopers too.
Oh, sure.
Because they look like they'd fit perfectly within the Cobra, like G.I. Joe.
And then, I think he also had a Hello Kitty Vader. So clearly, some people are not taking this quite as like, oh, it's got to be true to the movies or the lore. But,
no, we got some people here doing creative things. And we talked already about Joe doing his Jordans.
The sneaker pimps, yeah.
So he's got all of his Stormtroopers in Jordans. We had one guy who's doing all of his Rebel Troopers in bro tanks.
Bro tanks?
like wife beaters or
okay.
white tank tops.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Almost
really?
looking like catechins from 40K.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're like going for like the whole Predator look. So I mean, you see a lot of creative paint schemes, and I think you could also do, with Snowtroopers, you wouldn't necessarily have to do. Say you're doing an Endor or a Tatooine theme, you could easily do these in a light brown color as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
To kind of give off that, just
say, it's just hostile environment gear.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily, cold weather, but they've got AC piping in here, so it's pretty nice. But so Leia's coming out soon too.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. First, we're going to take a little quick break and get a couple messages from our sponsors. But I got some stuff for Leia.
Okay.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Tune in every Wednesday to Radio Free Tatooine, a Star Wars podcast that's better than some and worse than others. Take a trip to a water cooler far, far away as we bring some casual, fun conversation into the Star Wars podcasting community. Hosted by me, Sean, my sister Amy, and John. Radio Free Tatooine. We may not know what we're talking about, but we sure know how to record it. For more, visit RadioFreeTatooine.com, a proud member of the Radio Free Tatooine Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network, recorded on location at Power 9 Games. Whether you're looking for the latest releases from Legion, X-Wing, 40K, Magic, or any of our other extensive inventory of board and card games, head to power9games.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER10 to get 10% off your order. Plus, shipping is free on orders over $100. Now, back to the Outriders.
Welcome back, Outriders. John and Matt here. And we're getting back into the main topic for today's conversation. We're looking at the new Princess Leia card that's going to be coming out. So, Princess Leia, I'm super excited for her as a Rebel player because so far we've only had Luke. All the Imperial players get all these new toys with Snowtroopers and General Veers.
Dadgummit, it's the Rebels' turn, right?
Yeah, we need something. So, we got ourselves the new Princess Leia coming out. I believe we have a release date on that and the Rebel Commandos as well. I think it was May 24th when it was supposed to be coming out, according to the forums. But with the new Leia release coming out, we saw the final card that she's being released with. And I'm telling you right now, man, I am pretty stoked about that. We've got 3 cards now all being released. Her Coordinated Bombardment we had seen already, and this one's kind of like the General Veers card that we saw in the first place. He's got the one that allows you to shoot a kind of a preemptive strike that range 4+, 4 red dice out there. And Princess Leia's got one that's kind of similar, but instead of being directed at 1, she can actually fire at up to 3 units at over range 4 with 2 red dice. So this gives you not as much,
focused,
not as much focused fire, but you can kind of spread the damage around a little bit. Throw some extra suppression out there, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a really nice option to put a little points, like you said, just out in there. Hey, this unit was planning on using 2 actions this turn. Well, maybe not now.
Because, and that's probably what I would use it for. I was thinking with Veers, you might want to try to, especially with the immune to deflect ability, throw it out there on a Jedi right away or the commander. But with this one, you can slow units down by getting suppression before the battle even really starts.
Sure.
So,
and I just looked at the dates.
Yep.
Nothing for the Commandos yet, nothing official anyways.
Okay.
And Leia is slated for the 24th of this month.
24th, there we go.
That's fantastic. I'm really excited for the release schedule that they've kind of hit now. We had Veers almost a month ago-ish, like 2-3 weeks ago. And Snowtroopers dropped today. We've got Leia in a couple of weeks. So every 2 to 3 weeks, new unit. Hey, keep up the cadence. That sounds great.
Absolutely, yeah. And who knows if they're going to maintain that same pace, but for right now, that's great.
Well, it kind of helps out too because they have so many of their so many of the units are out of stock right now. I know a lot of stores like ourselves are having trouble stocking it. We grabbed as many Veers as we could. I don't expect the stock to last a whole lot of time, but Veers is already out at distribution. Snowtroopers already out at distribution as well. Plus, the Rebel troops and the Stormtroopers themselves are hard to come by. Not to mention bikes. ATSTs are almost gone. So if you're thinking about grabbing a unit, definitely do so before long because I have no idea when they're going to get back in stock.
I mean, that bodes well for the future of the game if we've got, distribution. I don't think it has to do with the lack of supply. I think it's just people have been selling them that quickly.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case, is that it's just really, really popular and they're able to spin up new production quickly to fulfill it. Because, we talked early on about the troubles like Armada had when it came out and you just couldn't get any supply for months on end. That'll kill a game. If you can't, you got people that are interested, but they can't buy the game and then, well, never mind, that ship has sailed. I'll play something else in the meantime. So... but at least for release days, it seems like there seems to be plenty of stock. Just people are really excited and buying extras and all that. But Leia.
I'll definitely have to pre-order my copy of Leia because I'm not.
Oh, you having it? Oh my goodness!
I'm going to as soon as we finish this show because I do not want to be left without Leia the day it comes out.
No, she's going to be a really important piece for the Rebel forces, I think.
She is, yeah.
What kind of list do you think you're going to be putting her with?
Well, let me finish going over the cards.
Yeah, sorry. I jumped in there.
Yeah, so the 3 cards that she was released with, we knew about the first 2, like I said, the Coordinated Bombardment we had seen, and then No Time for Sorrows, which was the one that allows her to give, it's a 2-pip card with giving orders to 2 troopers, and whenever a friendly trooper unit is issued an order, it performs a speed 1 move. So it allows you to kind of, set up your guys how you want them before they even actually have to activate. So, both of those cards were good. And then this week, we saw the big one, the Somebody Has to Save Our Skins. So, besides being a little bit, verbose.
And it's cool because she's standing there, like, in the scene where she says it on the art of the card.
Exactly.
So, hey, cool.
So, this one got Josh in a little bit of a tiff. So he's not here to talk about it yet. So we're going to talk about it without having to let him rant.
And how it's all awesome and everybody is happy for it.
I'm happy for it. I'll tell you that much as a Rebel player.
The Veers jealousy, man.
So it's a 3-pip card, and when you play it, Leia can activate a friendly unit at range 1 to 2 with a face-up. Or excuse me. So it allows you to issue orders to her and 2 other units.
Yeah.
And once you activate Leia, you can then activate a friendly unit at range 1 to 2 with a face-up order token immediately after her activation. So not only does that give you 2 full activations in a row, but it also gives Leia the opportunity to work in tandem with another unit, potentially launching a devastating attack or hunkering down out of harm's way. So it leaves a whole lot of room up for strategy because that's the first time we've seen a card that allows you to essentially
chain back-to-back activations.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah, that not only is it unique, I think it's very powerful as well.
Absolutely. And she's not Luke. She's not going to be out there in the front lines trying to hack apart your enemy's units.
Hey man, she's got martial arts.
But, that's true, she does, yeah. But she's a force multiplier. She's going to make everything around you better. And I'm looking at how the synergy she can have with other units, and I'm thinking her and Luke together is going to be great.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's going to be the first list I'd try. Is going to be her and Luke,
and her and a trooper heavy, and trooper heavy is kind of the meta right now anyway, from what I've seen.
Yeah,
people are taking a lot of advantage of using 6 troopers, and kitting them out, and then maybe sprinkling in an ATRT or maybe sprinkling in some bikes with it.
Oh, definitely, I think bikes are the go-to for that. But yeah.
But we're seeing a lot of people getting use out of troops, and then you get somebody like Leia who just multiplies their effectiveness. and
makes
cheap.
it all hum. Oh yeah, 90 points.
And 90 points. So, Veers is 80, but you got to think a few things you got to throw in there with him. For what Leia does, I feel like 90 points is a bargain.
Yeah.
I have no problem with adding her and Luke together, because you figure Luke, you kid him out with battle meditation and probably force reflexes. He's sitting around about 185 points, which is still a lot cheaper than Vader. And then you throw Leia on there with
you
bare
want
bones.
you want your esteemed leader, I think, with her.
It's an option. I don't think it's a must take if you're doing dual commanders.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just that 6 health, with no immune to Pierce or anything like that kind of helps the other Jedi. But she's also only got a white defense dice as well.
That's true. Yeah.
So not quite. I mean, I don't think Luke is terribly tanky, but she's definitely not that. So I don't know. I think I'd run her with that. But she's also got the 2 command on there as well.
That makes her a little softer to hit than Luke. But she does have other things that she has nimble.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So she's got that for she can do take cover. So choose up to 2 friendly units at range 1. Each chosen unit can gain a dodge token. So if you want to issue that in combination with the Esteemed Leader,
it'd be kind of fun to do it with Luke's card, where he gives out dodge tokens to troopers, because I think he can hit her with that.
Sure, she's
I'll have to go back and double check, but
I think you're right.
And with nimble, hey, more bang for your buck.
Yeah. So and of course, Luke's a trooper. So if you want to use him with that, somebody's got to save our skins. You can have him act right after her. So
the twins working well together.
Exactly. Imagine using that, getting into combat, and then using Son of Skywalker the next turn.
Oh,
yeah,
so mean. I can almost hear Josh wailing from across town. Sorry, your work, buddy.
So there's a lot of unique play styles that are going to open up with her, and like I said, I'm super excited about that. I'm also excited to see what's going to happen. We don't know that much about Han yet, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of synergy working with her and Han as well.
Yeah.
Especially with Han being cheaper than Luke.
Yeah, very much so. Gosh, I don't have Han's card in front of me, but I want to say he's nearly as cheap as Leia.
Yeah, I believe he's under 100 points.
And he's just very shooty and all that. So there could be some fun there, using her abilities to manipulate him into advantageous situations where he can get shots off with that DL-44.
And I'm excited for it because I admittedly like playing troopers more than I like playing big vehicles.
Hey, more points to spend on your troopers and supporting them.
Yep. So I think there's gonna be a lot of unique play styles, a lot of maneuverability, and games within the games we're gonna start seeing with Leia. So I'm pretty stoked about it. Needless to say.
Yeah, and I think any Rebel player is going to at least have some fun with her, whether she takes over the meta like Veers kind of has, but I don't know, we'll see. But I just like the fact that the flexibility on the somebody has to save our skins doesn't necessitate a trooper. You can have an airspeeder if it's within range to 2, or an ATRT or anything like that.
The only issue being it is a 3-pip card.
It is.
So chances
That's
are
fair.
you may not be going first.
No, but then you get to go twice.
Exactly. So you can go second and third, which is great. But if you have that one unit that absolutely has to go first, maybe that's not the card you want to play.
No, absolutely not. You definitely got to keep your overall game plan in mind with is it critical that I go first this turn? If it is, probably not that one then. That's when you go for the Son of Skywalker or something else.
But then, playing this weekend with the Grand Army, and for the first time, I guess, incorporating some of the Imperial cards into the Rebel cards, I think we're going to start seeing more strategy going into how to build your command hand.
Yeah.
Because
we've got options now.
Yeah. So I think before, whereas it was just, you had to take the default 4 standard cards and the 3 cards that came with your commander, now it leaves a little bit more options. It also plays into it, like how big of an impact it is when you lose one of those commanders then. Sure. Having half your command hand just disappear.
Well, yeah, I mean, it also depends on how you construct your deck. If you are taking some of their uniques, if you've got 3 of Leia's, the cool thing about having the double commander is you don't have to. You could always just go with the generic, pushes or assaults or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would necessarily be the right choice there. Can't think of really any downsides to taking other than you would lose those ones if Luke or Leia or Han bit the dust.
True. I mean, other than standing orders, I don't see any of those other cards being better than what you have.
Yeah, exactly.
And standing orders, you're always going to take.
Doesn't really
anyway.
hurt you, other than if you're planning to be very aggressive and you may not want to lose those low pip cards. If you've spent your other ones, you've already used Leia's assault, card at 1.
Yeah, and I feel like with Leia, you're also going to have an escort for her.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't use, I think with the Steam Leader, you definitely have to have it. But even without it, I think keeping a couple units close to her is probably going to be necessary.
Yeah, I think the Fleet Guard, when they come out, is going to be pretty sweet. Just because they have that ranged 1 to 2 limitation on their DH-17s.
Mm-hmm.
DH-17? Yeah, I think so. But anyways, they're little pistols that she's going to help them be a little bit more maneuverable, maybe catch somebody out. Like, oh, I thought you weren't going to be in range this turn. Turns out, here's Fleet Guard because I moved them up.
Do you think that with having Leia, it's going to be still more of a defensive strategy for Rebels? Or do you think that it's going to allow her to have a little more offense? Because that's kind of been like...
I think you want to be pushing things forward, taking objectives with her. I mean, what's the use of the extra mobility if you're, using it to backpedal?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, if you're able to move, pop out, and then you can still, aim and, shoot, it'll be a lot more effective than, having to move and then just shoot.
But I think one thing with Leia that we're going to probably see going forward is with her with the fleet troopers. I think that you're going to definitely have to see more line of sight blocking terrain.
Yeah, that's something we've been determining. That you just need to have stuff that can screen for large units, small units. Line of sight is really powerful in this game. With guns that can reach across the table. Yeah,
and with most of these, the fleet troopers at least, you're looking at range 2 being their maximum fire range, so maybe a bit of an issue. Oh, and just to clarify, one thing that I'd said earlier, that Leia and the Rebel Commandos are coming out May 24th. Got a little ahead of myself. The Rebel Commandos are coming out with Han later on.
Yeah.
So we actually have a release date for the Fleet Troopers, though, right?
Yes, they will. They're actually coming out simultaneous with Leia. So that's actually really cool to have a double drop on that day.
Awesome. So that's great. So we got both of those units coming out then before the end of the month. So Rebels will be on the same playing field as Imperials. Well, we'll have the same number of options, at least. We'll put it that way.
They'll have the moral high ground as well.
So one of the things that we recently saw from FFG that you just got as the owner and proprietor here of Power 9 Games, you got the kit for the actual
the recruitment kit.
Recruitment kit. Thank
you. Very cool stuff. It's a little bit more than their previous kits, but there's a little bit more going on. They've got the full art cards for the troops, so those are pretty sweet with the little Aurobesh script on top. But they've got the Stormtroopers and Rebel Troopers, so you have a little bit extra swag for that. They've got the Rebel and Imperial command upgrade tokens that are little metal coins, though, too.
Nice.
That are pretty sweet. They've got silver and gold. I'm not sure if you can hear them clinking around here. But yeah, the gold is a Rebel, so there's the Imperial silver. So a little extra swags. But one of the things that they're doing is you can run this kit, and what we're probably going to be doing is there's an Escalation League style setup that we're going to be doing from week to week to onboard new players and just give people a chance to paint up as they go if they want to, or just try out different lists that they may not play otherwise.
So with the Escalation League, do you know at all the point values or the number of units you're going to start with for that?
Yeah, we're probably going to go with what they recommend. There's a little tournament guide on their resources page on FFG, but basically it's supposed to be split between 4 rounds. We'll split it between 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. And first round is 350 point max with 1 commander unit, 2 to 4 core units, 0-1 special forces, which don't exist yet.
Yeah.
0-1 support, and 0 heavy units. So the first week is mostly focused on, smaller engagements. 350 points obviously isn't a whole lot to play with.
I mean, if you're playing with Vader, that's already more than
so
half
it's I'm actually really glad at the timing of this, because now we have options for commanders. We Rebel players can get away with using Luke for this in the meantime until Leia comes out. But it should be a lot of fun. Then the following week we'll upgrade to 500 points. And other than that, it adds in some options for more support units. You can actually bring a heavy if you want to. And up to 2 special forces units that still don't exist.
Okay.
But will eventually. Round 3 is 650. And that's getting closer to what we recognize. So brings up the minimum to 3 core units, 3 to 6, and then 0-2 on the special forces and support units, 1 to 2 commanders, so you can get a second commander in there if you want. And then round 4 is the full 800-point game that we're all used to.
Okay, so it basically allows new players who are gradually getting into it, maybe they don't have money to be buying expansion packs on top of the starter box.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can play out of the core set for at least the first 2 weeks.
Exactly, yeah. So that's cool. It gives a good option for people who want to learn the game before jumping into the full 800 points. Because we did that too. When we first started, we played with only what was in the starter box.
Yeah, we definitely had those little intro starter games. They seem so long ago.
It really does. I know, right?
Now there were all these grizzled veterans of possibly a dozen games.
I've seen things.
Turned you white. But it's going to be really nice to play at the lower points totals, because we've been really hammering those 800-point games. So it's nice to mix it up again. We did the doubles event, so this will be another opportunity for folks to try something a little bit different. Maybe scale it back a little, get to the fundamentals of the game. I'm excited for it. I'll definitely be participating. I'm sure you will too.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll strong arm Josh into showing up as well.
Right. It has to be like the third Saturday of the month that ends in a Y.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, we'll make sure the stars are in alignment. But
with that kit, it also came with some player point counters, right? So there's painting awards in there too for people that are going to be painting along as well. There's nice little art things. There's little reminder cards for choosing the month's operation and when it's going to start and end. And then you can actually track players' names, the games they've played, patronage. I'm not really sure. Did you see what they mean with the patronage? Maybe if they buy something here.
No,
I could be. I'm not sure.
They paid in or something, but I'll double check that. But it can track the numbers of games they've played, operations they've achieved, and major achievements. So sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so a good way to build the community.
Yeah,
which is, I think even more important than just playing the game itself. Because that's what this is all about.
You could be the best player in your area and just know everything about the game, but if nobody else is playing it with you, then
nobody wants to be the best at playing with himself, right?
Yeah. I will remain conspicuously silent on that and let you think about what you just said.
All right, I guess I'll put myself in timeout.
Yeah. You go stand over there with Josh now.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Anything else you want to get into at all?
No, but if you get a chance, we're going to be hosting some more live stream events here coming up soon. I actually need to talk to you about that. We'll have some more details on that. So do some battle reports coming up. If you ever want to reach myself on Twitter, you can hit me at Frontier Gaming C at Frontier Gaming Channel. And I'm on there, more than happy to respond. As always, Josh is on top of our Twitter feed, Legion Outriders, as well as our Facebook content.
Yeah, so hit us up and let us know what kind of stuff you want to hear about. It's kind of, we're at like one of those points where it's like, all right, so we're starting to see the lists change and the meta's starting to shape. So give us your pointers. Give us what you guys think is winning in your area, because we only know what's going on here in the
we've got our little area, yeah. But definitely, there's until we start seeing bigger kind of national events, that's when things are really going to take off for what's hot and what's not.
All right, folks, that's our show for this week. Just want to remind you that the Legion Outrider podcast is brought to you by the Radio Free Tatooine Network, a podcast network that's better than some and worse than others. To see the full lineup of shows, head to radiofreetatooine.com. See you next week, Outriders.
You've been listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network.
Only now, at the end, do you understand?
For more from the Outriders, make sure you like us on Twitter at Legion Outriders, subscribe to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Legion Outriders, and make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for listening.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.